Hello, everyone. Oh, let me start that again. These words didn't come out properly. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Friday Live, this Friday, the 31st of October. So for those of you who celebrate Halloween, I guess you'd say it's Halloween. Halloween is not necessarily a huge thing in Australia, although it's getting bigger and bigger. I know for those of you in the US and Canada, Halloween is tomorrow for you guys, but it's Friday morning here. Oh, it's 11:11. Love that number. 11:11 on Friday, the 31st of October. So it's Fiona Lukis here coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. So as always, if you are live, please feel free to say hi and let me know where you're tuning in from. I just wanted to say I'm still getting over it, but I had a really what's the word? Revolting morning. Revolting would be a good word. I got up early this morning to put some washing on. I was still in my PJs, so I had bare feet, walked down kind of half asleep to the laundry and was, half asleep putting laundry in. I don't know about you guys, but the laundry in my household is just never ending. My children just seem to, I don't know what it is. It just seems to multiply overnight. I can never get on top of it. Anyway, I'm putting the laundry on. My bare toe kicks something that rolls along the ground, and I bend down half asleep to pick it up, and it was a decapitated rat head. That's what I picked up, that my cats had obviously lovingly brought in as a gift for me this morning. I picked this thing up. It's just, I'm still gagging. I don't know when I'll actually be able to eat ever again. I was just, anyway, that was the start of my day today. So I guess it was in terms of it being Halloween, and and I feel like that was a real Halloween gift from my cats today. So anyway, I don't know if anyone's ever had anything like that happen to them. I was absolutely just going gagging. So hello, everyone. Hi, Lynn. Hello from sunny Perth. Oh, great to have you here, honey. Lovely. Love to see you, Lynn, as always. Hey, Lee. Yeah, that laundry load. It's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? Hello. Hi, Kirsty. Great to have you here for your first live. I love it. Awesome. Welcome to you, honey. And Craig. Hi, Craig. Always so lovely to hear from you, Craig. You always have a soft spot in my heart, Craig. Michelle from Kingston. From Kingston in South Australia. Michelle, you're always somewhere new. I love it. So that was the start of my day. I thought it was actually the perfect thing to kick off this Halloween. So that lovely gift from my cats. But I've been thinking about what I want to speak to you guys about today, and obviously there's some questions that I'm going to respond to, and as always I'm drawing on the things that occur during my relatable calls with my students, chats I have with people, my one-to-one sessions, clients, all of that kind of stuff. But I wanted to, I guess there's a couple of things I wanted to draw on or start with, and that was, I had an email come in recently from someone saying to me, Fiona, why don't you, as a suggestion, and I appreciate any suggestions you send to me, by the way, okay? Any suggestions I appreciate. Why don't you teach women how to love men properly? Men just need respect, right? Why don't you do that? And then I saw another clip, on social media today of someone giving their view on the role women have in life and the role men have in life. And if we get those roles right, then, that's what's missing in the world, and men need to do this and women need to do this. And then I saw another clip on someone talking about, what to do if your partner shuts down and what to do here and what to do there. And they were all very, I guess what I'm trying to say, they're all very definitive things, very definitive. It's this, do this, do that. Like there's some sort of rule or endpoint that people follow. If you just do this. Now, the problem with following a rule or an endpoint or a definition is those are things that do not apply to everybody all of the time. Those are things that apply to some people some of the time. But when you live from them as if they are a rule that applies to everybody all of the time, things become very difficult. Things become very complicated. People have expectations that don't get met. People get disappointed. People don't get curious. They become very rigid. And one of the biggest problems you face in a relationship that's not working is very rigid thinking. And all I can say to you is this: I'm not the authority on what you need to do in order to love someone well. Nor do I want to be. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person that says, you need to do X, you need to do Y. I've got all the answers. Because that, to me, that's what I call the guru model, which I don't believe in at all. And I don't subscribe to, never have. It's not about me telling you this is how you love someone. I see my role here as someone who is empowering you let me say that again. It's not about me telling you what to do. That's just sheer arrogance. I truly believe that's just sheer arrogance on my behalf. That's me being in my ego. That's me saying, I know better than you. I don't know better than you, right? You are the best authority on you. No one knows better than you, right? But what happens, I think, for people is we forget that. We forget who we are. We don't know where to look for the answer. And then we innocently look in the wrong place. So I don't see my role as you need to do X. This is what Y looks like. This is what you need to do to love someone. This is what women should do for men. This is what men should do for women. I see my role as, rather than telling you what to do, my role is to empower you. Right? My role is to empower you. My role is to inspire you. My role is to generate hope. My role is to point you in a direction where you are love, right? Where you become love, where you are love. To me, that's what my role is. And so you might find sometimes that I'm not being definitive. And some of you are looking for definitions. Fiona, what do I do here? What do I do there? Right? And all I'm going to say to you is, if you're someone who's looking for definitions, you just try on what I'm saying here, right? I just invite you to try it on. The answer doesn't lie in someone else's answer. The answer doesn't lie in someone else's rule. The answer doesn't lie in someone else's definition. That's to me an example of someone probably looking in a direction that's not necessarily healthy for them, right? The answer lies in you truly, deeply knowing and understanding who you are. The answer lies in you trusting in yourself in a way where you hear your own truth and you back yourself, right? I had a very big conversation with a client yesterday about backing yourself and what that looks like and why it matters so much, right? That people back themselves, because I feel like people start to hear whispers of what their truth is. They start to get a sense of it. And because it may be taking them in a direction to where they are now, because it means facing something they may not want to face, they distract themselves and go looking for a definition that kind of fits better, right? But there's something so extraordinary that happens when a person backs themselves. They just go to a whole different level of consciousness, a whole different level of awareness. And they don't need to worry about things like boundaries, because they have so much clarity. We were talking about this on the Relatable call, that, I feel like people who need boundaries only need them because they don't have clarity. When you have enough clarity, you don't need to worry about boundaries. You set them easily and effortlessly. They just become a part of your being, right? People who don't have clarity, they need the definitions. They want someone to tell them what to do. They want someone to tell them when to put a boundary in place. But see, if it's not something that you're not in alignment with, that you don't have clarity around, your ability to back yourself, your ability to put a boundary in place is going to be very limited, and it's going to be limited by the amount of willpower you have and the state of mind you're in. And so you're going to feel like you're in this up and down yo-yo, right? Which so many people do. And so many people get so stuck. And they think the answer is it lies in someone else's definition, or they think the answer lies in someone saying, these are your boundaries, this is what you need to do. See, the problem is when an answer is coming from something outside of you, right? Can you see that? Someone else's definition, someone else telling you that this is what the boundary that you need, someone else telling you need to follow this script, this structure, say this in an argument, use this language. This is all stuff coming from outside of you, right? Now, something that comes from outside of you has a limited shelf life. It is helpful for a limited period of time and then it falls away. Why? Because it's not your truth. Whenever you are operating from a place that's not your truth, the initial impact, the initial, I guess, momentum that you get from that falls away very quickly because it's not in alignment with you. Have you ever noticed that in life? When you do something that's not in alignment, you start off because you've got all of this willpower and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. But if it's not in alignment and the willpower falls away, you kind of lose the desire, the edge. This is why people say all of the time, you know, if you're someone who wants to make money, follow your passion. Right? Don't do something you don't feel passionate about, especially if you're running your own business, because it requires an awful lot of passion. It requires an awful lot of blind faith. It requires an incredible amount of alignment. And if you're not in alignment, there's no flow. This is absolutely true of, and in fact, even more so when it comes to our relationships. You can't be in a relationship that has longevity and connection when you are following someone else's definition and someone else's rule. It just doesn't work, right? It does not work. I know in the early stages, so many, many years ago, I used to do a thing called DISC. Many of you would be aware of DISC. It's a personality profiling system, and there's a number of personality profiling systems out there, right? And I'm not dissing it at all. DISC can be really helpful. Like I utilized DISC in hiring my latest assistant, and she's been brilliant. So there is a time and place where DISC is really, really helpful, right? But when I was working with a couple, I would get them to fill in a DISC profile. And I thought that would be a really helpful way of helping them understand each other. But you know what the problem that I saw it created is that people would learn their personality profile and then they would become more married to it. Well, I'm not very good at connection because I'm a D. I struggle to follow through because I'm an I. And so people would like hide behind that as a reason why they couldn't do something. Now, the minute you do that, the minute you start living by a definition, you become very stuck. You stop living out of your heart space. You're in your head. You struggle to connect. You struggle to communicate because you're not in the right state of mind. You're not in flow. And so whenever you're following a definition, you will always find things harder because what's going to happen here is you're going to look at someone who's maybe more in alignment with that definition than you, and you're going to go, oh, they're doing it really well. Why can't I do it? What's wrong with me? And now you're going to add that into the mix, right? There's such a simple pathway to connection. There's such a simple pathway to having a relationship that thrives. There's such a simple pathway to feeling good. There's such a simple pathway, but we overcomplicate it. We make it so difficult for ourselves and we innocently put all these roadblocks in front of it. And then we wonder why it feels like it's this mountain that you've got to climb, or we wonder why everything feels like I'm a puppet on the end of a string, or it's this constant, huge emotional roller coaster, right? And I can tell you 9 times out of 10, or even 9.9 times out of 10, it's because people have put themselves in a box, or they've put the other person in a box, or they've got these rules and these definitions that they're living by, and there's no alignment, there's no truth. They're not listening to themselves. And if you can't listen to you, then you're going to struggle to listen to somebody else, because you're going to listen through the filter of your rules and your boundaries and what you think is true and real, and then it all just becomes so much more difficult. I'm just going to read some of these comments here, and if this is, resonating thoughts, not thoughts, feel free to share them with me. Michelle, did you know that odd socks turn into Tupperware lids in the washing machine? Oh, that's where they all go. Thanks. It's really cool. Hi, Fee, you're early tonight. Happy Halloween. I think it's because we've moved into daylight savings, Marion. Australians in daylight savings, so we've wound our clocks back. So that's probably why it feels like I'm an hour earlier in your time. Thanks for welcoming, Kirsty, Michelle. Marion, yeah, I'm just a messenger. I'm just a conduit. That's all I am. 100%. That's it. That's all I ever want to be. Okay? Because I don't know more than you. We are equal. There's no hierarchy, right? There's no hierarchy in the world. It's such a made-up thing, made-up BS. There is no hierarchy. No one is better than you. No one is more worthy than you. No one is in a higher. No. That's not a thing. Okay? It's not a thing. Absolutely not a thing. Yes, we are making it all up anyway. Hey, Matthew. Oh, hi. So nice to hear from you. Hi, Fiona. Speaking as a past student, you have helped change my life immensely. Keep doing what you do so well. Love and kindness, Matt. Oh, so I appreciate that, Matt. Really appreciate you so much. Lynn, what about values elicitation exercises as a start to understanding the authentic you? Lynn, I don't do that. Once upon a time, I did that. They're very complicated things. And then people get really hung up on their values, right? Really hung up. I think we've all got to understand that the more form you put around something, the more complicated it becomes. So to me, if I've got this thing around my values, these are my values, I become very rigid around that. Does that make sense? I become very rigid because I start going, well, my value is freedom, for example, right? This is my highest value. So therefore I can't do ABC because that takes away my freedom, or I can't be in a relationship with this person because that's not their highest value. And so I feel like values get in the way and they complicate things. It's way, way more simpler than that. Way, way more simpler, right? When you understand the sameness between people, and there is a sameness that transcends form. So in my mind, values are form, transcends form. It transcends rules, definitions. It transcends personality types, communication styles. It transcends all of it. To me, that's kind of like operating on what I call the how line. When we're asking a lot of how questions, and I talk about this in module 1 of Relatable, when we're asking a lot of how questions, how can I do this? How can I get over that? How can I stop this? How can I do more of this? How can I do more of that, less of that? How can I get this person to do this? How can I get this person to do less of this? I'm operating at a level where I am in my intellectual personal thinking, right? And in my intellectual personal thinking, I have a lot of rules. I have a lot of entrenched thinking. I have a lot of definitions that I live and die by. And they get in the way. They do, in a way that it is mind-blowing when you see it, like truly mind-blowing when you see it. They get in the way. And they become the wall between you and deep connection. They become the wall between you and deep feeling, like the kind of depth of feeling that I feel most people are just sniffing at the fumes at. They become the wall between you and possibility, right? They really do. The hardest way to create change is to change what is already formed. That's the hardest way to create change. And so what I talk about a lot in module 1 of my Relatable program is we look in a very different direction. We're not looking in the direction of the how line. We're looking in the direction of insight. And insight has nothing to do with form. Now, I get a bit nervous when I start having these conversations. These are some of the depth of conversations I have in Relatable because I feel like I'm going to lose people. So I feel like I can't go as deep on these lives because people are going to go, what is she talking about? That I don't get it. That doesn't make sense. And the last thing I want to do is confuse people, right? So all I can say is if anything that I'm saying is interesting or intriguing to you, this is what I teach in Relatable. These are some of the kinds of conversations, the things that we touch on, because I want you to see yourself in a way you've never seen yourself before. I want you, to me, this is an insight I had. This came to me when I was working with a client last year, or was it the year before? I think everybody deserves the opportunity to get to know themselves outside of the limitations of their own thinking. And there are so many limitations we put on ourselves that we don't even know we're doing, right? And so when we look in the direction that I point you in, and hear what I'm saying, it's a pointer. It's not an end point. It's not a definition. It's a pointer. People get that opportunity. They get the opportunity to see themselves in a way they never have before. They get an opportunity to see the people they love in a way they've never seen them before. And so we have this extraordinary capacity to transcend our experience and to have access to thinking and insights we never have before. And to me, that is the gift that keeps on giving. Hence why I'm so passionate about this. I mean, I've been living from this space for 15 years, sharing this understanding, and I will continue to do so until the last breath in my body, because this is the thing that I truly believe was a gift I was given, and I want other people to be able to experience it. As many people as possible, as many people as little old me can impact and influence along the way. Hey, Susan. Hi, darling. Greetings from Florida. Always lovely to hear from you, Susan. Always. Nicole, morning, beautiful fee. Oh, morning, lovely lady. Morning, gorgeous. So lovely to hear from you as well. Hey, Claudine, I was just thinking about you the other day. I was thinking about you the other day and wondering how you are. Was scrolling and saw your beautiful face. Oh, thank you, darling. Stop me in my tracks. You're amazing. Always love your wisdom. Thank you. I so appreciate you, darling. Sending you so much love. Sending you so much love. So I hope that gives you a sense of, sometimes some of you listen to me and you're waiting for me to go, here's the definition, here's what you need to do, here's the thing. And I don't ever want to do that for you. I don't ever want to limit things for you that way. What I want to do is point you in a direction, right, where you get a sense of what is true for you. People who operate from their truth do relationships amazingly well. Like they knock it out of the park. Knock it out of the park, because we are designed for love. We are designed to do this stuff well. It is our birthright. It is your birthright. The stuff that gets in the way is the definition and the rules and all this complicated information that takes us away from that. And so we get very lost. We overcomplicate things. We come from fear. We come from arrogance. We come from anger and insecurity, and that's what blocks love, right? You take that stuff out of the way, people communicate really well, naturally. People love one another really well, naturally. It's an organic thing, rather than, okay, I've got to remember to do this, I've got to remember to do that, okay, I've got to make sure I'm living by this place, I've got to, no, it's all about simplicity. Right? Love is very simple. Human beings are very simple. We are not complicated. Every time I hear that, human beings are complicated, I'm like, that is absolute BS. We are not complicated. We're actually very simple creatures. And we have far more in common, far more sameness than we do differences. When you look in the direction of sameness, the insecurities fall away, the thinking falls away, and we naturally, easily, and effortlessly connect. That's just how it works. Don't believe me? That's okay. You don't have to believe me. If this is contradictory to what you've been taught, I completely understand that. But we have overcomplicated things, and I want to pare it back. I want to simplify it. Because when we live and look through simplicity, love blooms quite easily and effortlessly. It truly, truly does. And I can tell you this right now. Love can bloom very well with people who have nothing in common and may seem as though they are incompatible. So this is where the whole thing about values falls away, right? You can have an extraordinary relationship with someone who has very different values to you. You can. My husband has different values to me, but I don't think about stuff like that. I'm not even in the beingness of it, right? Differences and a lack of compatibility only look like a problem when insecure thinking gets in the way. And because people don't understand how that works, it becomes entrenched and it looks like the truth, right? It looks like the truth. And so we get very stuck behind a wall and it's truly an illusion that looks like truth. Nicole, 100% using this understanding, navigating a blossoming new relationship. Awesome. Love that for you, Nicole. Lynn, love is very simple. Yes, it is. It's very, very simple. Truly it is, honey. Thank you for saying that. Peter. Hi, Peter. Always a pleasure to hear from you, Peter. Hello, my friend Fiona. You taught me that it's more important to be open and curious than to be right. I put so much down now. It's liberating. Kiss. Keep it simply simple. Yeah. I love that, Peter. You always express yourself so beautifully, Peter. You really do. Okay, so I've got a question here that has come up this week. It's come up before, so I want to answer it today because I think I'm looking at the questions that I think will be the best for the greater good. As much as I can tell, little old me can make a call on these things. So this is a question that comes through a lot. My partner never listens to me. How do I get through to them? Right? This is the question. So they said, hi, Fiona, I've been listening to your lives and following you for ages, and what you say makes so much sense. But I have an issue with my partner. They never listen to me. How do I get through to them? Right? That's the question. Great question. Okay? Great question. Because listening is so important, right? It really is. But it's a matter of what we are listening to, right? It's a matter of what we are listening to and the lens which we are listening from. So I know that this can be such an issue for so many people, and I've got a whole module dedicated to this in Relatable, a whole module dedicated to it, all right? Because it is so important, and it plays a massive role in connection in our relationships. But I want to give you a slightly different take on this. All right. So, so many of us, and this to me is true of just about everybody I come across, myself included, all right, myself included, we overestimate our capability and capacity as listeners. Many people think they are a better listener than they actually are, right? Many people do. Most people would say, I think I'm a pretty good listener. Or if they're focusing on listening, they might say, I feel like I listen to this person well. Now, here's the thing about listening. Just because you can repeat back what somebody said does not mean you were listening. All right, I'm going to say that again. Just because you can repeat back what somebody has said to you does not mean you were listening, and does not mean that they feel heard by you either. That is not an indicator of someone who is listening well. But it's the biggest indicator that people use, or the biggest sign of proof that people will say to justify and say, I'm a good listener. They said X, Y, Z, and this is what I heard. They said X, Y, Z, right? But that absolutely is not an indicator, right? The other thing about listening is a lot of people think that in order to listen, you have to agree with what the other person is saying. That doesn't have anything to do with it either, right? So these things really get in the way of our capacity to be a good listener, because most people are listening through what I call a very loaded lens. They're listening with an agenda, right? So In other words, I'll listen to you because if I listen to you, hopefully you will do ABC. Or I'll listen to you so that I can get my chance to speak and defend and rebut. Or I'll listen to you, but only because you were nice to me yesterday. Like there's this agenda that people have that they don't even know that they're listening through, right? There is this. It's amazing how much of an agenda we have on things, and the agenda that I would say 99% of people have is invisible to them. They can't see it. They wouldn't know that it's there. They would in fact say to me, I don't have an agenda. I don't have an agenda. And I would say, yes, you do. And it's invisible to you. Now, the problem when something is invisible to you, you haven't got any choice on how to change it. And again, I think that's one of the gifts of the understanding I teach in Relatable is the invisible becomes visible. You can't change what you can't see. You can't change what you don't have awareness of, right? So the thing that I want to just kind of put out there, and this may seem a bit controversial, is, what if that person, now this is a what if, and I don't want you to go into, yeah, but this and yeah, but that, please understand when you're listening, right? This is just another quick little helpful hint. If you're someone who's listening to someone speaking and your immediate response is, yeah, but, right? Are you listening? Think about it. Are you listening? If someone is saying something to you and your immediate response is, yeah, but, are you listening? Like truly. Or if you're one of those people where someone shares something and you say, oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Are you listening? These are just some of the things I hear in the way that people listen. There's a yeah, but. Yeah, but. Or there is, oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I heard about that ages ago. Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about manifesting. Oh, you're talking about law of attraction. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's that, NLP thing. Like people love to put things in a box. Now, I get why, because it helps our brain assimilate. We look for what is that like, and then we put it in the box. The problem when you're doing that is there's no curiosity. There's no expansion. There's no nothing. There's just, oh, I know. And then it all just stops. It ends right there. And no matter what that person says, you're not hearing it. There's no room for insight. There's no room for expansion. There's no room for possibilities. There's no room for anything. It's just bang. The door has closed, right? Now, what you've got to understand is that is an energetic door. And so when that door closes, whether people are aware of it or not, when you shut that door, and people are shutting the door energetically all the time and they don't realize it, okay? And I'm speaking to those of you who may have done lots and lots of personal development work who think you're good listeners, because they're often the worst, right? Because we listen through, and that was me. I'm actually referring to myself. We listen through a lens of arrogance. We do. Oh, I know better than you because I've studied that. Oh yeah, I already know that because I did that. I did that program. I've worked through my stuff. That's not a thing for me. And so we listen through this what I call either spiritual or personal development arrogance. Right? I see it a lot. You'd be amazed, especially in relationships where one person's really into personal development and they're in a relationship with someone who's not. There's an incredible amount of arrogance that just creeps in and we don't even realize that's what's happening. And it permeates the energy. It does, it permeates it. So, it takes humility to be a good listener and then to be in a space where someone else feels safe enough to listen the way you want them to or need them to, or all of those things, right? It takes humility. And humility, I think, is something that most of us lack. And I'm not having a go at anyone when I say that. Probably sounds judgmental. It's just an observation that I see in people, you know. We could all do with way more humility than any of us bring to the table. So what I see when someone asks me a question like that, right? My partner never listens to me. How do I get through to them? I guess a question I would ask that person is, what if they're listening really well, but you're not liking their response? They're not listening in the way you think they should, right? You've got all of this expectation around what that looks like, what that should look like. And so you're putting that in there. Right? And I see this with people all the time. And they'll say to me, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, okay. This is before we've started working together, and they might say, I've got this issue, and we might have a bit of a chat about it. And then we'll start working together, and then they start learning this understanding, and they're like, oh my God, Fiona, I'm a terrible listener. I'm like, yeah, probably. Wow, I'm so arrogant. I'm so loaded. No wonder my partner shuts down on me. No wonder we don't get anywhere. No wonder it's become harder and harder, right? I see this an awful lot with people. You know, your partner is listening through their own thinking, their own understanding, their own state of mind. And they're hearing you through their own filters, just like you're hearing them through yours. When you say they never listen, what you often mean is they're just not responding the way I want them to. Or they don't agree with me, or they don't seem to understand my point, right? You have to understand we all live in separate realities. Your partner genuinely sees things differently to you, and that doesn't make them wrong, and it doesn't make you right, and it doesn't make you wrong and them right. That's the meaning we place on something like that. I think this is something so misunderstood or very little understood. And often I'll say to people live in separate realities, and people will say to me, yeah, I know that, right? This is one of those listening things where I'm like, you didn't hear what I just said. Even though you might be able to, I could say to you, you didn't hear what I just said. And they'll say, yeah, I did. You just said that people live in separate realities. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't hear it. You didn't try it on. You didn't embrace that. You didn't embody that in any way. That just bounced straight back off you, right? It just bounced, right? Now, if you are doing this and you're showing up that way and people are sharing and it's bouncing, okay, because you're so in your head, and I see this all the time, then do you know what I mean? That may well be one of the reasons why there isn't a feeling of listening going on. And this is why we always have to look within our own yard first, right? We have to look in our own yard. But you can't look in your own yard through a definition, through a lens of, well, I'm this personality type, therefore that means, or I'm this attachment style, therefore that means, and they're that attachment style, therefore that means. That's a definition. And again, I'm not dissing those things. I think those things can be helpful. But when you live and die by them, you are not opening yourself fully to what's on offer for you, what's on offer for the other person. You know, definitions of things kill the expansion and possibility of it. This is why I'm really mindful of putting a definition. You have to do X. It looks like Y. You're this type of person, therefore that means. Because here's the thing about human beings, right? We are capable of transcending anything. We are far more powerful and extraordinary than we give ourselves and the people around us credit for. We don't know our own power. And so therefore we don't step in it or stand in it often enough, because we are weighed down. Like we really are. We're weighed down by definitions, by rules, by what we believe to be right, by defending our position, by entrenched thinking, by a reality that doesn't truly create connection, that doesn't truly create possibility, that doesn't allow truly for the space of that. And for me, this is what I feel passionate about, is pointing people to that space and holding that space for them. That's what I see my role is holding that space so that you have the chance to step outside of the limitations of your own thinking and be there and be in the beingness of it and feel the possibility of it, feel the expansion of it, and realize that you are so much bigger than the definition you've been putting yourself in, the box that you've been holding yourself in, and the people around you. Because when a human being sees that, and I get the absolute privilege of seeing this each and every day, I do. It's an honor and a privilege through the people that take that risk and decide to join my Relatable program or take that risk and invest in working with me. I get the privilege and the honor of seeing that. And it is something I will never, ever get sick of, because it is, to me, it is the greatest joy is to see a human being wake up to the potential of that in themselves and then see the ripple effect of what they then create from that space with the people in their lives, with their families, with their children, with work colleagues. I mean, it just ripples out in places you can't possibly imagine. That's what totally floats my boat. And so every single time someone says yes around that, I'm like, because I know that the ripple effect of that will go to places they can't imagine, I can't imagine, and it will go on and on and on, because that's just how powerful people are. So I'm all about empowering you to step out of the definitions that you've put around yourself, you've put around your partner, you've put around your relationships, because there's no greater opportunity in life to expand and grow than through our relationships with others, because there is nothing in life that triggers us, that has us have to face ourselves in a way that we've never had to before. Like, it's a beautiful, wonderful thing when you embrace it. It truly is. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And, every day I feel this immense sense of gratitude that I was able to stumble across this and have this be my life's work and embrace it, because I get to wake up every day with someone that I almost divorced 14 odd years ago because I thought we were incompatible and we were too different and we didn't have anything in common and we didn't have the same values. And I bought that whole Kool-Aid. And I didn't realize that by buying that Kool-Aid, I was destroying something very sacred and special to me. And so, every day I wake up and I'm grateful that my husband's lying next to me, that we have the kind of relationship that we have. And it's a gratitude that grows and grows and grows. I mean, my husband was, which is the first time he's ever done this, he joined me on a live Q&A with my Relatable students last week, because a lot of them messaged me and said, we want to meet your husband, we want to talk to him. And my husband's more of a behind the scenes guy than a front of house guy, but he did that for me. And it was so awesome to hear how far we've come and what an impact it has had on our lives. And as he said, it just gets better and better. There's no end point. Right. You have to understand there's no end point to love. There's no end point to depth of feeling. There's no end point to experience. There's no end point. There's no there. It just keeps growing and morphing. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You don't go, this is it. You just go, this is where we are. I wonder what's next. Not from a place of I need more, or there has to be. It's literally a sense of wonder. That's what I think. I don't know what's next. But I know it's going to keep growing and morphing and deepening. I know that I know, because it's unlimited. And that's true of us all. Now, when you step in the space of that, I'm sorry, I don't think there's anything better than that. There is literally nothing on earth better than that. Nothing. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. I've spoken for a very long time today. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for everyone. I really appreciate everything that you're sharing here. Hi, Ian. Hi, Robert. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for engaging with me, guys. I really appreciate it. Matthew, you're so welcome, Lynn. That's right, Peter. No two realities are the same. So how can you both be right or wrong? It's not possible. Exactly. Hey, Lee, it fills you up. This understanding creates such a beautiful place of contentment and gratitude within yourself. You find a lot of things don't bother you without actively trying because your soul is so full. Oh, I love the way you share, Lee. I couldn't say that any better. It's exactly how I feel. That's it. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. Just, it's a whole other level of being and relating. Love it, Lee. Thank you, darling. Love it. Hi, Mark. Hello. Hi, Mark. Hi, Liana, if you're there. Thanks for saying hi. Hey, Peter, you are a bridge to an understanding we all have, but need to know how to cross the unknown. You bring us from fear and into a world of natural love, Fiona. Oh, thank you, Peter. You changed lives. What a true gift. Oh, you're going to make me cry, Peter. Thank you. Whew. I can't even. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's really touched me, Peter, those words. Thank you so much. Hey, Lynn, an hour of pure gold. Thank you so much, honey. Hey, Leanne. Oh, love you, Leanne. Always such a pleasure to hear from you, honey. Hey, Chris. Oh, my goodness, I haven't heard from you for a while. Thank you, Fiona. You helped me through a hard time and taught me a new way forward. Awesome. I'm so happy for you, Chris. I really am. I'm happy to hear that you're through that hard time. I really am, Chris. Good for you. Good for you. Leanne, it changed my life. Oh, bless you, honey. Thank you. Thanks, V. Always so much insight from you to ground me on my Friday morning. Sue. Hello, Sue. Nice to hear from you, Sue. Just caught the last bit of your talk and enjoyed listening. Thank you. You are so very, very welcome, everyone. I so appreciate your comments. I really, really do. Thank you so much for sharing. And enjoy Halloween for those of you, because it's I appreciate that it's it's the 31st here and almost that for you guys in the US and Canada. And if anyone wants to know about Relatable or would like to join our Relatable family, here is the links to find out more about that. Chris, I am low today, and look who just happened to be live. Well, I've helped you in any way today, Craig. Sorry, Chris. Then thank you. I'm very, very, very appreciative and grateful to you. Hey, Craig, thank you for another amazing call, Fiona. Your understanding changes people's lives. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you all so much. If anyone's listening to this recording and get to the end of it after 47 minutes, bless you. And hey, Trish, hello. So lovely to hear from you, honey. Oh, my goodness, Trish. Wow, there's a blast from the past, Trish. All right, thank you, everyone. I will see you next Friday, which will be November. Can you believe that? We're in November. Crazy, crazy. If you have a question you want me to answer, send it to hello@fionalukis.com.au. Put Friday Live Q&A in the subject line, and we'll put it in the queue. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Take care, everyone. Ciao. Lots of love.